nearly 4 decades of service to recognize today. Let that sink in for a minute. Christy, you started when you were 12, 13? So we have a wonderful program for you today to honor a wonderful person. I will tell you, I'm Bob Horner, and I'm the administrative director. And I've only been in this role for a couple of years, and one of the leaders here that I got to know right away, who helped tell me a lot about the organization and how things work, was Christy. We happened to both be attending the Supreme Court retreat in the fall of 2023. And so Christy was one of the chief authors of my education here at the court, and I will be forever grateful for that. So speaking of Christy and her many family and friends who are gathering here today, I'm going to actually ask Christy to introduce to all of you her family that have joined us here today.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I'd like to introduce my mother, Barbara Tull, and her 92 years young and rocking it all the time. Her husband, Bob Tainer. I have 3 brothers. 2 are here. My youngest brother, Jim Tull, and his wife, Anna Huckabee Tull, who you'll meet in a bit. They come from the Boston area, Concord. My brother, Steve Tull, who's my middle brother, and his son, who is a Rubik's Cubes master over here, David. So I also would like to introduce my husband, Bill Tiarina. And my daughter, Raina Tiarina, and Mitchell side by side right here.
All right, terrific. Thank you, Christy. Again, Christy's service here at the court has been exemplary and far-reaching, and I can only think of potentially one other person who is as dedicated to the education and welfare of the judges across this state as Christy is, and that's our Chief Justice, Chief Justice Kennedy, who I invite up now to make some remarks with respect to Christy.
Well, good afternoon and welcome, everyone. I'll be brief because it's not me you came to see. On behalf of the Supreme Court of Ohio, it is my distinct honor to recognize and celebrate the career of Christy Tull. She probably doesn't remember it, but I met her in 2000 when I was a trial court judge just starting out. Christy has served 36 years in the field of education, of which 28 has been dedicated to advancing judicial education at the Supreme Court of Ohio. As the director of the Judicial College for more than a decade, Christy has shaped judicial education with unwavering dedication. During that time, the Judicial College has set new standards for professional development of judges, magistrates, court personnel, guardians, and many others across Ohio. Throughout her career, Christy has advanced experimental learning opportunities, allowing judicial officers and court staff to engage in an immersive educational experience outside traditional classrooms. By facilitating visits to prisons, youth service facilities, crime labs, and even Amish communities, Christy has redefined judicial education, enriching its relevance and impact for members of the courts. During Christy's tenure, course offerings have grown from 68 that were offered in 1997 to nearly 400 courses serving over 22,000 participants last year alone. Christy earned distinction both nationally and internationally for her expertise. A former president of the National Association for State Judicial Educators, she is a source of guidance to countless professionals in her field. Her work was featured in publications worldwide, and she has served as faculty for multiple states and institutions, cementing her legacy as a thought leader in judicial education around the globe. Here in Ohio, she is collaborative and established partnerships with The Ohio State University and many other institutions that have led some of the most comprehensive evaluations of judicial education in the United States. She led the development of curriculum processes, data-driven initiatives, and landmark events, including co-leading the first Summit on Children. Among her many accolades, Christy was the recipient of an Education Award from the Ohio Association of Magistrates and was recognized for her service by the Ohio Association of Juvenile Court Judges. Yet her legacy lies in the countless judges, magistrates, court staff, and legal professionals who have honed their skills and enhanced their service under her guidance. As we bid farewell to Christy, we do so with gratitude. Christy, your enduring commitment to education, advocacy for innovation, and dedication to judicial integrity have set an example for all of us. We wish you health, happiness, and fulfillment as you enter in this new, well-deserved chapter of your life. On behalf of the Supreme Court of Ohio and my fellow justices, and all who have been fortunate enough to work alongside you, we extend our heartfelt thanks and best wishes. You will always remain a part of the court's history and an inspiration to us all. May you find joy in the freedom to explore new adventures, which I know you will, spend precious moments with loved ones, and reflect on a career that has truly made a difference to us all. Congratulations, best wishes. May God bless all of you.
Christy and her leadership compatriots designed a new leadership structure here at the court. And as part of that leadership structure, we added a couple of deputy administrative directors, one over operations and one over legal services. Gina Palmer became the first deputy administrative director of legal services, and Christy formed a core part of her team and the leaders on her team. There has been no one who has been a bigger champion and advocate for and fan of Christy as Gina. And so I'd like to have Gina come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Bob said, my name is Gina Palmer, and next time I don't want to have to follow the chief. That was a really great speech. It's a true honor to stand here today and speak about someone who's not only been a colleague, but a friend and an inspiration, Christy Tull. Where is Christy? There she is. I've known Christy for many years. When I first came to the Supreme Court of Ohio, I brought with me 18 years as a magistrate. So as a longtime participant in judicial college courses, I was already well aware of Christy's outstanding contributions and the exceptional work she consistently delivered for the judicial college. But what I didn't know yet was just how caring she is as a person, or the depth of her commitment to education. From the very beginning, Christy was welcoming. She's welcoming, very welcoming to all new employees. She introduced herself immediately, and that warmth never faded. At the time, I was the director of attorney services, and because continuing legal education regulation was part of my role, I had the privilege of working with Christy for many years on certain initiatives. And for the past year and a half, I've had the even greater privilege of being her supervisor. Let me tell you, Christy is a joy to supervise. If you assign her something, you never need to even follow up. You know it will get done. She's dependable, she's thoughtful, she's thorough. She listens, she takes things to heart, and she's truly a good person. She's committed. You've heard that a lot. Commitment, dedication, kind of are going to be themes you're going to hear today because those describe Christy. Christy parks near me, and I can't count the number of times that I've left work late only to see her little red car still sitting in the garage. I probably sent her 50 texts over the past year and a half in bold that say, go home. But that's Christy. You know, she's a true believer in education, in fairness, and in doing things the right way. Christy also has a gift to be of her commitment. You know, she's as committed today as she was probably the day that she started. And I don't know that we can say that about a lot of people after that many years of service. That consistency, that integrity is rare, and it's deeply admirable. The only thing I'm not going to miss about Christy is her messy office. So those of you who've been in her office knows that she is a collector of fine paper. So Christy is a gift for people, as I said, making people feel welcome. I'm convinced that there's no one on this planet that Christy couldn't strike up a conversation with. She's a doer, a connector, and someone who brings people together. And now as she steps into retirement, I'm happy she'll have the chance to do more of the things that she loves, namely, especially like traveling. I know she loves to travel. But moss will not be growing on her during retirement, that is for sure. Christy, thank you for your years of service, your kindness, your dedication, and your friendship. You've made a lasting impact on all of us, and we wish you nothing but joy and adventure in the new chapter. So congratulations, you've more than earned it. So I'm going to introduce our next speaker, who's the first of 3 judges who will be giving a few remarks. It's Judge Stephen McIntosh. He is a Franklin County Common Pleas Court judge in the General Division. He is the immediate past chair of the Judicial College Board of Trustees. He's a frequent and long-term faculty for the Judicial College, and he's been a major contributor to New Judges Orientation, the curriculum project. So, Judge McIntosh?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Christy, for giving me an opportunity just to say a few words with regard to this occasion. I had the pleasure of serving on the board. I served with the executive committee for 5 years and then 4 years as the board chair. So that gave me many opportunities to work closely with Christy during the time that I was on the board. And the one thing that always impressed me with Christy from the time I got on the board, became part of the executive committee, and then as chair, you've heard everything that the chief talked about in terms of what Christy has accomplished during the time that she has served in this position. She never sat on her laurels. Christy was always pushing us as a board to look at different ways of providing adult learning, different ways of looking at how we were doing the things that we were doing, better ways in which to be able to present information. We always took a look at the evaluations that we as presenters received and took those very seriously in looking at things that we could do differently and do better. And so that was something that always impressed me, was the fact that she was continually looking at us to provide input, insight, information, to be able to then craft the type of curriculum that we as a court would be proud of. You know, also, I had opportunities as well to be able to sit in on interviews for staff persons coming in. And that gave me even more insight in looking at the quality of person that Christy was looking at to be part of the college. And she has put together what I consider to be just an outstanding team of individuals who likewise share Christy's enthusiasm, but also Christy's drive for excellence in providing education throughout this state. So on a professional level, absolutely, we all will miss Christy, and I too will miss you personally for that. But on a personal level, because of the fact that we had the opportunity to work together for as long as we did and as closely as we did, I personally will miss you when I come to this building, when I work with the college and their staff. So I just want to thank you for the inspiration that you've provided, I think, to many folks. Your seriousness about judicial education, your seriousness about adult learning, and also taking pride in putting the quality of work, the quality of education, I think, that we've been able to put together in this state. Enjoy your retirement. While we will miss you, tremendously so here, as I indicated, because of the staff that you've put together. I will continue to look forward to us carrying your legacy even further throughout this state. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge McIntosh. As Gina rightly noted, we're very privileged today to have a number of fine representatives of the judicial branch. Our second guest is Judge Hejmanowski of the Franklin County Common Pleas Court, the Juvenile Probate Division. Judge Hejmanowski is the current chair of the Judicial College Board of Trustees, and as I understand it, the chair-elect of the Ohio Judicial Conference. He is a frequent and long-term faculty member for the Judicial College, both as a judge and magistrate and as a court administrator. Judge Hejmanowski, if you could join us for remarks. There you are.
Good afternoon, folks. You heard earlier, I have the privilege of having succeeded Judge McIntosh as chair of the Judicial College's Board of Trustees, and so having worked with Christy in much the same way. You heard from him how impressive that team is there at the Judicial College, all of them I think here in the room today, so I'm not going to repeat that. You heard the chief mention earlier about our curricula, very well-planned, very well-thought-out curricula, and Judge Capizzi, who is following me, chaired the original juvenile committee in that regard, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. I am instead today going to let you know that I actually know Christy two different ways, which is that while I am not a native of Delaware County, I've lived there about 30 years now, and been judge there for about 10, she is, and a number of her family members are here today from Delaware. So I actually saw her mom come in, and it was Old Home Week for us. I have the privilege of knowing her and many of the members of her family, both personally and obviously knowing her professionally. I also have the advantage right now of serving on a national board, the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, and having served on their curriculum committee. Their major function is to serve as a method of educating judges throughout the nation, juvenile and family court judges throughout the nation. And I can tell you that every conference I go to, and Judge Capizzi and I will be together at their conference in Chicago in just a few weeks, the judges from other states are absolutely blown away when I tell them what we have here in Ohio as far as education is concerned. The state of Ohio's judicial education is the envy of 49 other states, and it is so because of Christy's fine work. You heard the chief mention earlier experiential learning, and she talked in particular about going out to prisons. In just a couple of months, Judge McIntosh and I will be out at the Ohio Reformatory, and I do not mean the new prison at Mansfield. We'll be at Nancy as well, but we'll be at the old Ohio Reformatory, if you will, the Shawshank prison, for those of you who are familiar with Shawshank Redemption. And this will be, is this the fourth time now? Third time? Fourth time for this. But I want to tell you about it because I want to give you a sense of what that is so that you understand the really innovative things that Christy has done here. We go up to Mansfield and judges meet there. We have an early morning discussion about what the nature and purposes of felony sentencing, incarceration in particular, are. Then we tour the prison, the old Mansfield Correctional Institute, the prison that was used as the backdrop for Shawshank Redemption. And that tour takes an hour, hour and a half, whatever the standard tour is there. And the judges get to see what that looked like, what incarceration looked like in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Then we come back at lunch and we have another guided discussion about how that setting matches our expectations of why we sentence defendants to incarceratory periods. And then we get in the car and we drive over to Mancy, the new Mansfield Correctional Institution, which is right next door. And we tour the Mansfield Correctional Institution. and we look there at what their housing, modern housing, looks like, what Prison Industries is doing, and many other things. We have a panel with inmates, current inmates, at the institution, and then we gather back again at the end of the day. We say, all right, now you've seen the past, and now you've seen the present. How does this change your thoughts about felony sentencing and incarceratory periods? It's a fascinating day to watch how those judges, many of whom have been sentencing defendants to prison for years without ever having seen what the inside of an institution looks like, are affected by seeing the other side of that coin. That kind of experiential learning is the kind of innovation that Christy has done here at the court. We're going to miss that greatly, but I'm really hopeful I'm going to see more of her in Delaware. So I will leave you with that. Christy, thank you for all your fun.
Frequent and long-term contributor to the Judicial College offerings. But a really interesting point that I was informed of was that he was also the leader of the Judicial Curriculum Project, which established the templates and the processes and paved the way for all the other jurisdictions. So Judge Capizzi, join us.
Christy, first I want to thank you for the honor of being able to say a few words. The bad news is I'm the last of 4 judicial speakers. And I had all these great little notes to tell you about Christy, her work life, and it's been said over and over again. She's a great person. So I'm just going to speak from the heart, I guess. She's a great person. You know, I became a judge for the first time, elected 23 years ago. And I was a young kid. I mean, I was. And Christy Tull taught me how to be a judge. She led the effort to teach me and many other judges through new judges training and year after year after year how to do better work for the people and fellow we serve. And Christy, I know you were in charge of all judicial education and education for staff, education for the community, for executors, for CASAs, all that. But I think somewhere in her heart were children and families, because she picked the Juvenile Judges Association to be the guinea pig for the curriculum. And we work like hell. I mean, I got to tell you, no one has made me work more. Even my wife. You made me work harder than anyone in my life to get something done right. And I know you did that with not just the juvenile judges, but with DR, and especially with probate, the challenges they have with their timelines and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, Chief, I know you're in charge of everything, and you make sure that the system works. Christy has made the Judicial College work for the last 10 years, spreading the wealth of knowledge. And as you heard from the other judges, not just locally, not just in the state of Ohio. I served as president of the National Council, and Judge Hejmanowski is correct that when we go to that conference, we'll be at it in Chicago in 3 weeks, they relish the fact that Ohio judges have been leaders in the nation because of what we know. And we know it because of Christy Tull and the rest of the staff here. What you don't know, I tried to think of a few things you don't know about Christy. And that's hard because so many of you know her so well. But I wanted to say a few things. And the Chief mentioned that she has written for international publications, but she's also taught. She's been in Chile, Argentina, and Canada. So she's been all over this place and overseas, teaching other judges, other worlds, how to do it right. And then what I really found out recently, which I think is really cool, when she was a young hippie in the early 80s. Now, it's hard to imagine her as a hippie, but think of a young girl right out of college, traveling through Europe with nothing to do, just party. And in the meantime, while she did that, she also taught. She taught in England and Bahrain. And so this woman, we were lucky to get back in Dayton, Ohio, in Montgomery County, Ohio, in Franklin County, Ohio. I could name all the counties to say we are who we are in Ohio as judges because of what Christy Tull did and her leadership. Now, Chief Justices let her do her thing, and I'm sure there were a number of times where the number of Chief Justices yelled at her for what she did, but at least she pushed us forward. We were the most progressive state in the country on judicial education. And one time she tried to prove to me that California was more aggressive and more progressive. And that was when we were talking about curriculums. Because California was doing a really darn good job. But we beat them. And it's all because of what Christy Tull did. So Christy, we're going to miss you immensely. Friendships grow when you see people at their best and at their worst. You see them working really, really hard and when they achieve. And I don't think I ever saw you fail in the 20-some years I've known you. You thought you did a few times, but in the end you didn't. You were just so paranoid about it that you worried. In the end, you did a great job. Congratulations.
I think this next speaker represents a really important point of emphasis that I want to make sure that I call out. I think probably the most important and yet maybe one of the most underappreciated or undervalued aspects of a leader is their ability to identify and develop successor leadership in their particular organization. There are a lot of leaders that I've witnessed over the years who are actually pretty resistant to that and don't provide opportunities for people within their organization to grow into the leadership position. Christy is not one of those leaders. Christy has been dedicated to making sure that she ensured the continuity and stability of this function within the organization. And as you've heard from everybody today about how wonderful and how valuable that part of this organization is, maintaining that continuity and that stability brings great value to the court and to the citizens of the state of Ohio. So I'd like to invite Christy's deputy director, who is going to be our new director of the Judicial College, Chris Fields, to say a few words about the woman that gave him this opportunity to develop into our successor leader.
Thank you, Bob, everyone here. Thank you, Christy. As I sit here and stand rather and listen to everyone talk and share all the wonderful things that Christy has done, I think to myself, what have I got myself into? How am I ever gonna match any of this? And I say that in jest, but I wanna call out and just acknowledge, Christy, so much that you have shared with all of us in the college. You've imparted on me. I think back, I started almost a decade ago, and within the first year, Christy, there would be a refrain periodically of, I'm not gonna be here forever, so I wanna make sure someone knows this. Well, thank you. I wanna, for those who work in the college as staff, would you raise your hand? Christy, I want you to look around and acknowledge the fact that we are here in large part. You helped to bring us here. You helped to shape who we are, shape what we do positively. And we are also here to, and you have my level word and honest word that we will carry forward to the best of our ability the reputation that the college has, so much of which you helped to shape and define. And we're so excited for the future, but we would not be in this position if it were not for you. So thank you for all you have done for myself personally, on a personal level, professional level, as well as for the staff. We are poised to do great things, and again, it's to carry on for where you have taken us, so thank you.
So that's okay, you know, we all learn lessons. Yeah, right, exactly. So I would like to, without further ado, bring the woman of the hour up to share with you some thoughts that she has about her very long and distinguished tenure here.
Does that, can you hear me? Or should I keep it up above? Okay. All right. Well, so I want to keep this concise, so I decided to have a PowerPoint with 45 slides, learning objectives for you. Just kidding. After these 28 years, those kind of habits die hard, but I want to thank you all for being here. Chief Justice Kennedy, as I said to her, I do remember years ago when she started. I thank you for your comments and remarks. That was really meaningful. I love that my mother is hearing all this. Don't you want your mother to hear it? I thank you for believing in me and believing in the role that judicial branch education truly plays in advancing the mission of the court and truly enhancing the administration of justice. So I am grateful to you for your investment and acknowledgement. I'd like to also have a show of hands. Who is a justice, judge, or magistrate in the room? And if you would just put your hands up in the air. I know there's more that are not raising their hands because I've seen them. So would you give them a round of applause? I think it's important that sometimes we lead from behind as judicial branch educators. And that's what we call our profession, judicial branch educators. But the folks that just raised their hand, along with hundreds of others, teach 2 times a year, sometimes more. And they are instrumental in the success of the Judicial College in Ohio. So I just want to acknowledge them and thank them. Administrative Director Horner, thank you so much for your innovation since you've been here. Gina Porter, my Deputy Director, right back at you. Everything you said, I feel the same about you. Thank you so much. And I want to also acknowledge the senior leadership team here at the Supreme Court. I see many of them in the room, and the community that you have been to me and the partnership has meant a great deal. So I want to thank you. To all of you that work in the daytime, in the evening with me. Colleagues, thank you for everything that you do, friends and family. Really serving at the Supreme Court, Judicial College, for these many years has been an immense honor and not a job I ever imagined existed years ago. I am deeply grateful for the experiences, the opportunities that I have had during my tenure here. Working alongside so many dedicated, talented, service-oriented individuals is the greatest joy of my professional life. It's not surprising that I'm in education because years ago when I got ready to go to college, my mother and father said, we don't care what you major in, we don't care where you go, just go and learn to learn. That was their phrase. And that is something, Mom and Dad, listening in, that has been a guiding principle for me. It has helped me throughout my career. It's defined my passion and it's defined my career. And so learning to learn, there are 3 things I'd like to share that I've learned here at the Supreme Court of Ohio. The first lesson is small things are big. What I mean by that is every smile, every conversation I have with somebody in the elevator, down the hallway, in your offices, working on a project together, matter. Michael, I love that we get to do our good morning or good afternoon. Did I do it backwards? Good. Okay, anyhow, he teaches me everyday sign language, so those things matter. And I just look across this room, and I know, and out there in the hallway, I just really, it's a joy to work here, and you enrich my life. Thank you. Oh, by the way, who changes the battery in my clock on for 10 years? Somebody's been changing the battery on my clock and the time. Anyhow, thank you. Lesson 2, none of us do life or work alone. And that's been established. Yes, I'm the director. Yes, I've had leadership opportunities here. But I really reached this milestone, not on my own, but through the strength of the community, wise mentors, generous colleagues, collaborators, partners, countless hands that have really offered guidance, support, encouragement all along the way. Which leads me to lesson 3. I don't know if you know, but the Supreme Court of Ohio Judicial College office and team is the greatest, and they are exceptional. It has been already said, but these are individuals, each one, that are leaders from behind and front, supporters, and I am just deeply grateful that I am leaving behind a very high-functioning team, which you all have had an opportunity to get to know. I'd like to say something about each one, but we'll be here until the evening, so I will be saying something to each privately and convey my thanks. So suffice it to say, as I turn the page to this new chapter, I carry with me a deep gratitude for their friendship, the lessons, the shared commitment to justice that made my journey so meaningful. Because of the two that are going to be leading on, I do want to say something really quickly. I'm going to pick the three people who have been with me longest. Christopher Steele, that man has a heart to help, and he has a passion for the purpose we serve. Thank you, Christopher. Katrina, you are steadfast, a go-to person. There she is. The utmost professional and a guide who has seldom steered me or others wrong, and I know you will continue into the future that way. Chris Fields, you're a terrific collaborator, advisor, well-respected thought leader who will take the college to its next level. I am confident, excited to learn more. So again, I just wanted to highlight the long-termers of all the folks. I should do a show of hands, like, who has worked in the Judicial College? I feel we're talent scouts. There's at least 7 people here at the court and others that, raise your hand if you worked at the Judicial College. Okay, see now? So you're welcome, other officers. So family, I am truly blessed. Thank you for being present and celebrating another happy occasion with me. I know my sister, who passed 2 years ago, and my father, years before that, are with us in spirit, and I'm grateful for that. Mom, again, you have modeled how to have a family and a career at a time when there were few women doing that. So thank you. She's also teaching me about retirement. She wrote 2 books in retirement. She, at 75, joined the Peace Corps. She got married at 82. So love that woman, thank you. My beloved children, Mitchell and Raina. At 29 and 25, these are Supreme Court kids. They grew up with me and many of you coming in the office on and off. And obviously, suffice it to say, you've taught me much. I'm very proud of you. Where's Raina? Oh, there she's over there. And I love you. To my dear husband, married 32 years, thank you for creating a God-loving home with me, for getting the children to and from school all so many years. Give me balance, and I love you. And as I get older, I like you. And probably more and more as you get older. So what's next for me? Basically, family, fun, philanthropy, no doubt, travel to punctuate, not define my retirement. I'll keep you posted on my next chapter. Today, I step away knowing I've left the college better than I found it. I leave with full hands and a full heart. Everything achieved is truly a reflection of the people who stood by and worked with me. So I thank you from the depth of my heart for all of you and going on the journey with me. So Chris Fields, I remember, and I'm supposed to introduce him.
Show off.
Just giving you my sister. Well, it's really fun. I think we're going to have some music here. This is my sister-in-law, Anna Huckabee Tull, who is a very accomplished, renowned singer-songwriter outside Boston area. She lives in Concord. And she's written a song for me. I haven't heard it. But I think it's all for all of us to think about. As Judge Adrian said to me yesterday on the phone, he's like, The word you need to say now is next. Next, 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 next. So that's sort of the thing as I understand it. I turn it over to Anna Huckabee Tull.
So it's interesting, Christy, that you just said next, 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 as that happens to be the title of this song. Sort of. Yeah, as Christy said, she's never heard this. That is what you call trust, because I could be doing anything up here at all. Ready for the world premiere of Next, 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 Next? 36 years in the field of education, 28 of them right here, filled with dedication to the advancement of judicial glorification at Ohio's Supreme Court. That's 36 years of putting food on the table, dressing up, coming home, make a meal, and still be able to help your kids with homework, and volunteer, and be a wife, and have a life, and honor your peers. But now, Christy, your time here is complete. It's time to reassess, take a breath, take a beat, and ask yourself, what will my retirement be when the focus of my time is basically me? Well, as your loving and devoted sister, I say, let it be brave, let it be wild, let it be playful, just your style. Let it have pickleball and bike rides, footloose fancy theme. Let it be pensive, let it be restful, let it be anything but stressful. Let it glisten, Christy, let it gleam. And most of all, Christy, let it be supreme. When you started here in 97, there were how many? 68 courses. That's good enough, some might say, that will do. But now there are 400 courses, 22,000 attendees just this year. And that, my friend, is largely due to you. You had lots of great help, stellar colleagues, awesome staff. You had a family to cheer you along. But now it's time to take a bow and shift gears for this new chapter, which is why I'm singing this retirement song. So in regards to that retirement, may it be brave, may it be wild, may it be playful, just your style. Let it have pickleball and bike rides and a footloose fancy theme. Let it be pensive, let it be restful, let it be anything but stressful. Let it glisten, Christy, let it gleam. And most of all, Christy, let it be supreme. Like a dream, except it's real. Let it be supreme.
This flag was flown over the court today in honor of Christy, and so we present that and this declaration to Christy. Thank you, Christy. So I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody for coming today, and of course we have a reception outside, as is our typical practice. But there's an additional thing that I know Christy would like to extend an invitation to everybody, so I'll turn it over to Christy.
Thank you, Bob. I would invite anybody that would like to join afterwards my family's hosting just a casual little get-together at what's called Nocturra. And it is a bar restaurant in the middle of the Scioto Audubon Park. So you basically just take High Street, go south till you get to German Village, turn right on to Whittier, and it takes you right into the park, and the pub is in the back. I keep saying we're gonna have a party at a pub in the park. So if you would like to join, I invite you. I'd love to see any and all. And thank you again. I see so many judges here from around the stage and others that have called me along the line. Hope you hang around too. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.